Hey everyone, Tim here, Head Gear Garage. We've got an exciting project today. We're doing a little work on a Jeep TJ. It's got some minor rust issues on the fender, so we're just going to replace those. And then there's a couple other little projects we might get into on it. It's going to be a pretty quick project, I hope. So, first thing we're going to do though is get the pressure washer out, kind of clean her off. So take a little cleaner to work on. And we're going to get it in the shop and we'll get started on it. Yeah, I'm aware it's raining and we're going to pressure wash. We're not trying to get it clean. We're just trying to get the dirt off of it. Let's get going. Good enough for me. Let's take a quick walk around. We'll see what we're looking at here. As I said, we're here. We're going to replace these fenders, front fenders on both sides. As you can see, they're in pretty rough shape. Not a lot. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that one's where that one's bad. Let's see what the other side looks like. It's got a hole coming in here, and it's rotting out the same spot there. The rest of it really doesn't seem like it's in too rough a shape. Rest of the Jeep, it's got a pretty good, got a little hooey in the door there causing some rust just from the paint being missing, but it's not rusted through, it's just surface, so that's in good shape. Tires. He did say it has this one mismatched tire, and he's planning on buying three more of these Wranglers. Just this one's brand new, and he's going to get 3 more to match it, since the others are not in greatest shape. The body itself is a brand new top. Top looks fantastic. Obviously, it's brand new. We got inside. Typical Jeep inside. Dark. But everything's here. Believe. Okay. Got nice seat covers on it. They're in good shape. Floor pans. Oh, they look perfect. Yeah, no issues with the floor pans. This does already have the, I don't know which side, but look. Yeah, this already has the typical frame rot issue, which is right here, and it's already been repaired. He's already gone through and done that. Said they did a in-engine bay rebuild on it, so it's got the 2.5 engine in it, and they've replaced that. He actually had said the skirts on the engine, or skirts on the engine. Yeah, that's how that works. Skirts on the piston. One of the pistons actually broke on him one day. Fell down in it. Luckily did not cause any damage. He got it shut down. They ripped her open and replaced them all. He said the bores all look good, cylinder walls all look good. So they got that all cleaned up and threw some new pistons in. It's a little 2.5. He said it runs fantastic. So we're just going to go through, get her up on the lift, knock these fenders off, and then we're going to put these new fenders on. Well, new-ish, but they're in better shape than what's on it. See, there's no, I've got to get that off. There's no rust in them. Got to flip them over to check the underside because they have this diamond plate on them. And he said he doesn't care if that diamond plate's removed or not, but I see it's pop riveted. So if you take it off, you're just missing a pop rivet there. So if you take it off though, you're just exposing the holes. Polish this thing up so it looks a little better. I started that just to see if you could. And it actually does polish up pretty decent. Polish them up, put it back together. So yeah, and then we're gonna take those flares off and put these extended flares on. I think I have a plan to maybe upgrade this into something a little nicer. We're gonna try it on that fender there to make sure before I do anything to the new fenders. So let's get it up here, let's get it on the lift, knock some wheels off of it, and start seeing what we need to do. Perfect. Okay, so the air compressor finally shut off, so we can actually work in a little peace and quiet. I got her up here. I'd have to go up a little higher just to get a little more headroom, but it's looking like, whatever. We got 3 bolts here, 1, 2, 3. 3 over here, and 3 on the back. 3 on the back are on this seam right here. So I'll have to get up in from that side. I'll have to lift her up in the air to do that. But let's start with, let's tear the fender flare off first. And let's hope it's not tear it off. Let's unbolt the fender flare. Let me try it that way. All right, so we got a bolt. You guys see anything? You guys can't see anything. All right, we got a bolt, a spacer between the flare itself and the fender, and a nut. And I am going to try something different. I got to do that once I get it all apart. Try something different, putting it back together. Keep going. All right, those two, okay, those two are bolted on. Just a different. Show you what we're running into here so you understand. The bolt I need goes through here, which means I have to go up through here behind this. Okay, let's try that again. Behind this, all the way up to here, all the way up to there to get on what I think might be a nut behind this thing. So here we go. You guys step back out here. Don't look at the ceiling. That's not good. Okay. Hey, we're there. Stuff falling out everywhere. Now let's get this thing unplugged. Let's get this thing unplugged. There we go. All right, let's run that flare down and finish washing it off because it's absolutely disgusting. Next step is let's get these wires. Lights, what is that? It's just a zip tie. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get this wiring loom all undone. Turn signal out of there. There you go. A lot of room to do that. All right, so we got to snake the wires. Come over here and look up. You got to snake the wires through this hole. In order to do that, I got to see what's on the top side here. Let's see. Let's bring this thing down. Take a look at the top. Well, you can see down in there, the wires are down in here. Can I get them on the other side of this? Wires are way down there. Maybe I gotta go way up. Let's go way up. I don't know if you can see anything. I sure can't. I got it. Let's see if we can feed them back through here. Oh yeah, there we go. Right. Okay, wires are out. Those back out of the way. So take the bolts that go up this seam out. Oh my God. Okay, we're not gonna deal with that. All right. So we're going up through there. 1. That's the best I can do at lighting. 2, 3 way up, and then I gotta go up to the top to get 4. So you're not gonna be able to see me do anything here. I'm gonna bring you back when I get to the top. Okay, we got the bottom 3. Let's see if we can get this top one. It is ahead in here. Okay, that's out of there. Next thing I'm going to do is start disconnecting these things before I disconnect the front. Wires and doodads, hickey-mabobs, stuck to everything. All right, so let's get disconnected. Little crispy. Don't break. Oh, it's getting tighter. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah. Well, about this one. Well, apparently my battery decided to die there, but I haven't gone anywhere. We left off, I snapped that one, and this one sounded pretty crunchy. I'm not sure if it's doing anything, to be honest with you. It sounds like it's just spinning in there. I think we're getting somewhere now. Oh yeah. All right, let's see if she'll come off. What do you think the odds are we get that out of there? That one right there. Let's see if we can get that out. Off right here, this is the bolt that broke off. It's the you can see it's the grill. Fender bolts here, bolts down the backside. This is the one that broke. It's a 8 mil 1.25 thread, and I drilled it out. Yeah, I drilled it out and thought, well, okay. I couldn't get the bolt to come out, and it just galled itself fast to all the capture nut. What I didn't do was I should have taken this off, this trim ring on the headlight off, and looked on the backside first, because I thought, well, it's just sheet metal. I'll just drill it out big enough and put a riv nut in there. It won't be metric anymore, but yeah, it won't matter. Well, you can't do that. You could. I couldn't do that because on the backside, when I drilled it out to the size for the rib nut, I was going to put a 5/16 18 rib nut in there. The capture nut that's on it was still too thick, and you can't get the rib nut to bite because it's made for sheet metal. So now I have a hole that's way too big. It's 7/16. So I took this trim ring off, and I should have left it off. I could show you. I put a bolt through here, 8mm bolt through here. I double nutted it, and then I just welded those to the captured nut, and then I just took the bolt back out. So now this is rethreaded again. It's just a little deeper. So I just went and bought a new bolt that was longer, so I know it would capture and grab plenty of thread here. Okay, anybody that knows, tell me in the comments what this canister is. Is it part of the evap system or something? I don't know. There's a little vacuum line of some sort that connects to it, but I have no idea what this thing's for. Yeah, let me know in the comments. All I did was, where this canister goes, I just drilled the hole out, put a rib nut in there, 1/4 20, rather than a self tapper or something like that. Hopefully this will hold up better and be easier to take apart later. We're just going to put a little blue thread locker on it. I had to take a slight step backward because I forgot. He told me this one, when the guy was taking it apart, he was in here with a cutoff wheel and he got a little aggressive, sliced it. He asked if I could try to put some metal back in there, and then it was all bent up here, so I'm going to have to take a drill bit there and bring that back out a little bit or something. So I took the turn signal back out. I did get the fender flare all the way off of it, so I got that rubber back out of the way, so I shouldn't catch it with anything. So let's get this, see if we can tack this closed a little. All right, it is the next morning. I started last night. I finished off last night with this is the section of fender that had a cut in it right about, I don't know, right about here somewhere. So I tried to weld it. It was so thin it just blew through every time. I kept pressing the welder down, and it still didn't want to not blow through. So I just went a different route. And since it was just a thin slice, it wasn't a big hole or anything, we just took some short strand fiberglass, patched over it. This isn't a beauty queen here, so we just sanded that down. You can still kind of see the line of the short strand if you really look at it, but sanded it down, primed it up, and then just resprayed this whole section here with some flat black to kind of match, and it does match pretty well actually. Then I jumped on here first thing this morning, set the fender on here. It's only got 3 bolts holding it at this point, but our next step is this cover, this deflector for the air intake, had a bolt going through right here. What we're going to do is I've just just took this hole that the bolt went through, opened it up some, and we're going to put a rib nut in there and a bolt down through. And that'll just be easier because before it had this, it had a bolt with a nut on it. And as you can see, it was all rusty anyway. So we're going to replace that out. Something a little easier for the next round of repairs on this thing. So the rib nut, it's the Doyle, it's the Hobo Freight version. Works really well, actually. Let me get it taken apart here. I have it set up for 1/4 right now, and I'll put that right back on it because I'm going to be doing more stuff with that. We're going to switch it over to the 5/16. If you've never used one of these, highly suggest it. Love this thing. I use it way more than I thought I would. Okay, let me get the So we got the fender is back on. All the bolts are tightened. Fuse box back in. Got this thing mounted back up with the rubber isolator. Batteries back in. I went through on both, you can't really see it on that one, but I went through on both the J hooks that hold the battery for the battery hold down. Cleaned off and ran a tap and die through the thread and the nut on each one. The back one was really rusty, so I cleaned it up, hit it with a little rusty metal primer, and then painted it black, so hopefully it doesn't rot out on them too soon. I redid the wiring, zip tied the wiring here, just to tie it up a little bit. I had to cut a few of those. Got the relay reattached. All the bolts are tight. So now we're going back through, put the fender flare back on, which is right here. What I did for the fender flare is it had regular, let me show you what we had here. It had these regular little, they were Torx head, button head bolts with nuts on the back side. I went, here's one. I went and got these stainless, now they're a Phillips head, but they're a stainless and they're a 1/4 And I went through all the mounting holes and put the rib nuts in. So we have a captured nut on all the points, 6 on each one. And we'll be able to do that. And then because the fender flares have some cracks and stuff in them, I went through and, hard to see, but I went through and took washers and sprayed them all flat, the matte black, flat black, to put behind these. And I think that'll just make this whole process a lot easier as far as the mounting and all that goes. First thing I got to do is I'm going to drill this hole out and put a rib nut in there as well, and just use a 1/4 through here rather than fight with these, because this one has a nut on it normally. So we're going to put a rib nut in there to prevent that. This one, the captured nut is still there, so we'll reuse it. So let me get that drilled out, rib nut put in, and yeah, let's get this fender flare back on. So off camera, I went through this, didn't have any loom on it, so I put a little piece of loom on it, taped it up a little bit. Not perfect, but did run it, so I can go back through now and push this one in. Okay, this one, figure out where it was. Right there. Okay. All that is up and out of the way. Let's get that bulb, put that in. Okay, I'm going to kick the lights on. You let me know if they work. Fingers crossed. Turn the lights on this thing. Well, they on? That one's not on. Is that one on? Uh-oh. That one's not on. There we go. Just needed a little persuasion. Last thing we got to do here, let's see if the hood latches. Got a latch first. That one's loose. Cool. That one's not lined up at all. I think our issue is this. Our issue is this diamond plate has 3 holes drilled in it, and they're offset. There's an adjustment in the fender. Adjustment underneath. These holes in the fender are ovaled, but in this they're not, and it's making this thing sit this way too far. And I have the adjustment to slide this way, but I can't because these holes are not the right size. So let's see if we can't make those holes a little better. Okay. Got in there, wallered them out a little bit. Now look, I have some adjustment, which it very much so needs. Okay, let's get the hood back down. We'll put this nut on there. Just leave you guys sit right here. Put this nut on. Bring the hood down and adjust this hinge out. This latch. All right. Coming down. Oh yeah, so now that looks way better. It's not, yeah. Yes, there we go. All right, let me get that bolt tightened up. Well, there we have it. This side is completely buttoned up. Everything is back to where it's supposed to be. The hinge, or the latch is adjusted. All the bolts are tightened. This is tightened, that's down. Good, sturdy. Nothing's loose. This is for his winch. He has a kill for it, so that's a pretty good idea. I did notice that here on this block off plate for his is it a bolt somewhere? No, that's just the way that is. But on his block off plate for his air intake, that the pipe was rubbing right against metal. There was nothing in here, so I cut a piece of I had a piece of fuel line, just sliced it, ran it down along there. Try to keep from rubbing a hole through his aluminum air inlet pipe. So yeah, we're done on this side. We're gonna fly into the other side, which looks like it could prove to be a little more challenging, considering how much stuff is bolted onto this fender. Plugs and wires and doodabbies and hickey-mabobs. I don't know. But before we get into that, I'm going to go have some lunch. And then we'll get started. All right. See you in a bit. We are back from lunch. I have already gone through and taken the fender flare off. Unhooked the wiring. Here's the head, or the turn signal and marker lights. Up here, I moved this main harness. It goes over to this plug. It went through this gap right here. Pulled it out. Got the washer motor pulled out. All this stuff here was connected right here to this. These hoses here. So we are ready to, and I did take a drill pump and drain this washer fluid out too. So we're ready to get the bolts out of this fender. Same as the last time, so I'm just going to go through, knock them out. If anything comes up of any interest, I will. Didn't make it very far. I haven't taken a single bolt out when I noticed this. Let's see if we can get a good angle on it. It is the bump stop for the front suspension driver side. A little rusty, and then I don't know if you can see this, but there's supposed to be rubber in here, and it is crispy. So that should get replaced at some point. Not today, but at some point. Well, got it back on there. No real issues with it. Unlike the other side, this side bolted up pretty easy. Wasn't out of whack. Did have to kind of adjust a little right here. It was a little off, but everything else, the only other issue I ran into was this one and this one. These are just those, I don't know, little metal clip that were for nuts on the other side, and both of those were rusted and snapped off, so I ended up just replacing them with just actual nuts. So kind of more of a pain in the butt when you go to take it apart, but it definitely is on there now. It's not loose. So the next step is we're going to go through and drill out these holes, 6 of them, to fit the, do you see any of that? Drill out these holes. One, I don't know, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I think, something like that. But we'll drill them out to, I think it's 23/64. Then you put the 1/4 inch 20 nutsert in, and then we'll bolt that fender flare on there. So let me go get the drill set up, and we'll get these drilled out real quick. Yeah, what do you think? Want to try to put it on? Oh, wait, no. I want to sand. Yeah, I want to sand and just lightly sand. I'm going to acetone this, sand it, and just paint it because it's kind of, it's not bad, but just going to give it a little touch. Okay, back together. Let's drop the hood and we'll raise it up. Put a tire back. Well, we won't put a tire back on. We gotta put some lights back on. So let's raise it up and do that. I can bring this down. Well, there we have it. New to this Jeep, fenders without any rust in them. Did I ever? Nope, I gotta put the bolt in that yet. Forgot to put the bolt in here. We'll do that real quick, but either way. So that does that. That fender there's on there, paint's dried. I got one Bruce Jenner here, good track star, running like crazy. It's just dirt. Cleaner. Hit these with just a little bit of, just a real quick polish, chrome and aluminum polish, just to see what they'd look like. They don't look too, they probably look really good on camera. They don't look quite as good in person, but they look good enough. Yeah, everything's lined up good. So, don't want to know. Anyway, that's it for that project. Hey, that's a wrap for this week. We got the new fenders put on. We have more we're going to do on the Jeep, so please stay tuned for future videos on it. I appreciate everyone watching. Thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you on the next one. Tim, Headgear Garage, out.